So, good morning,
Good
host
morning.
Oscar Steve Pond.
Good morning, Sharon. How are you?
Good, so it's going to be the last of our little Oscar video chats for the season. What happened last night? What was the biggest surprise to you? Yes, of course, Argo won Best Picture, but
Right.
were there surprises?
Well, there's something wrong with an Oscar show, in my view, when the biggest surprise is production was on. I didn't think Lincoln was going to win production design. But otherwise, I didn't do very well predicting, but it was because I went out on a limb for Emmanuel Riva and some people like that.
Right.
And none of those kind of surprises happened. It was pretty much down the line.
Well, what about Ang Lee? You know, I will tell you, I was in the theater at the Dolby, and it did feel like when he won Best Director, and it wasn't David O. Russell, and it wasn't, obviously Ben Affleck wasn't in the running, Catherine Bigelow weren't in the running, but Steven Spielberg did win. There was like an electricity in the room, and a lot of people leaped to their feet. That felt like a surprise to me. It wasn't for you?
Well, I think 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, everybody would have said, oh, it's Spielberg's, no question. That movie never got the traction that we thought, and so I think by the time of the Oscars, I think a lot of people were calling Ang Lee. I mean, I thought it would be Ang. I thought there was so much affection for that movie and for what he pulled off that he was likely to win.
For sure. And then when Quentin Tarantino won for Best Screenplay, which felt like a throwback to Pulp Fiction almost 20 years ago, the whole Weinstein part of the room leaped to their feet. It was like, being at a football game or something in the middle of the Oscars.
I've been in the house at Oscar shows when Weinstein, or in the old days, Miramax won something, and they do all get up. I mean, there is a go team spirit.
Totally, absolutely. So what do you think about the telecast? Seth MacFarlane's getting some very mixed reviews today.
He certainly gets them from me. I thought he was very flat. I don't know how, I hear that it played well in the room.
It played well in the room, except that a lot of the segments went on for a really long time.
Yeah.
So it was lovely to have Charlize Theron and Channing Tatum dancing. And I personally really like that whole high-low bit they did in the beginning with William Shatner. And I want to go on the record as saying, I like the boob song.
I don't know. I didn't. And I felt like, it doesn't make bad material worse if you admit that it's bad as you're doing it on the Oscars.
But he's trying to have it both ways, for sure.
Yeah. To me, you're right. Everything went on for too long. They don't need, Seth MacFarlane doesn't deserve a 17-minute opening segment on the Oscars. The tribute to movie musicals should not have been 10 minutes long. And there shouldn't have been as much Chicago on that.
Well, there's a lot of talk about the Chicago thing, and that's a little bit, well, what'd you think about it?
I felt like, guys, this movie won the Oscar 10 years ago. It had its moment on this show in 2003.
And of course, the producers of the telecast are the producers of Chicago, so
right.
There was some talk about that.
It felt pretty self-serving. It also felt like on a night when you're rushing winners off stage by playing the theme from Jaws. That felt rude, and I felt like, did we really need this extra time so that you can showcase Chicago one more time?
Well, I'm going to just bring up a bugaboo. I didn't think that loser song at the end worked. I felt like, Argo won, Ben Affleck gave a beautiful speech. He talked about falling down and picking himself back up.
Right.
It was an inspiring moment. And then we had the sponsors, and then we had the loser song. I felt so bad for the people in the room who were nominated and who didn't win. And not only did they have to not win, they had to live through that song reminding them that they didn't win.
I know that song. It's an old Sinatra song, and I know Seth MacFarlane loves Sinatra, but it's a case of misreading the event, I think. They wanted to show we've got this, edgy new style Oscar host, but that's just not how you end an Oscar show.
But at the end of the day, though, I got to say the ratings were up almost 20%. So what do you make of that?
I mean, I think that has a lot to do with the movies that were in contention. You had $100 million movies in there, which has never happened before. I mean, I think that's what drove the ratings. People love Argo. I mean, the Academy loves Argo. People at home love Argo. Lincoln was a big hit. Les Mis was a big hit. That's, I think, the main reason. And the Academy, promoted the heck out of this thing. And I think there was some interest in seeing what Seth was going to do.
Yeah, I think that there were a lot of young people, just to speak for my own household, my kids were watching the show because Seth MacFarlane hosted. Otherwise, they wouldn't have watched. I don't know if they'll come back next year, but I think that piece of it was obviously working for them.
I wonder how people who came to it because of Seth, how did they feel about that long stretch in the middle of the show when it was, one craft award after another? I think they probably lost some Seth fans during the middle hour and a half.
They might have been doing video games in the middle. Anyway, Steve Pond, thank you so much for a fantastic Oscar season. It's been really fun. Thank you, guys.